Hi guys, and welcome to the Family Fudge. I'm Jennifer, and in today's video, I'm going to be putting together some 72-hour emergency bug out bags for myself and my family. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is a bug out bag and why do I need one? Basically, a bug out bag is a portable kit that's going to contain the bare necessities that you're going to need to survive a 72-hour evacuation situation. So whether it's a hurricane, an earthquake, tornado, wildfire, or some other natural disaster, if you have your bug out bag ready, you'll be able to grab it quickly, and you know it's going to have the items that you and your family will need. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I shared the items I keep in my prepper pantry in case of an emergency situation where we can't leave the house. And I'll go ahead and link that video down below if you missed it. Besides the emergency food, I also like to store at least a 3-month supply of health and hygiene items as well. The items in today's video are specifically for a situation where we need to leave our house quickly. So I've organized my family's bug out bags into 5 main categories, which include food and water, clothing, health and hygiene, comfort items, and survival gear. And what I put in my kids' bags are a little bit different than the adult bags. And I've also decided to put all of these things into backpacks, so that in the event where we might have to leave on foot, each member of the family will be able to easily carry their own backpack with what they need. And you guys, keep in mind, this is just what I'm putting in my family's 72-hour bags. Of course, what you need might be a little bit different, especially if you have older or younger family members than I have. Definitely take that into consideration, and definitely don't forget about your pets if you have them. Now, you guys, a lot of the items I'm putting in these bug out bags I didn't already have, and I needed to buy them new. So if you're like me and you also need to pick up a few things for your emergency bags, you should definitely check out Fetch Rewards. That way you can actually earn points on your purchases that can be converted into gift cards. And I'd like to thank Fetch Rewards for partnering with me on today's video. Now, if you guys are new to Fetch Rewards, they have a really easy to use mobile app. And basically, after your shopping trip, all you need to do is just upload a picture of your receipt, and Fetch Rewards will hook you up with all the points you earned on your trip. You don't need to worry about where the receipt is from. It is a super simple process. And you guys, if you shop Amazon like I do, you can also enter e-receipt. You just link your app to your Amazon account and your email. And then with the tap of a button, Fetch Rewards will find your online purchases and add the points to your account. And finally, you guys, for a limited time, you can download the app and use the code FUDGE to get 2,000 points when you scan your first receipt. Again, I want to thank Fetch Rewards because having sponsors definitely help keep this channel going. Okay guys, now the first category is the food and water category. And when I was choosing foods for these bug out bags, I tried to keep a couple of things in mind. First off, I made sure to pick foods that had a very long shelf life. So all the things I'm putting in here will last at least a year or more. I was also looking for foods that were ready to eat right out of the package. So no cooking required, no water required. And then finally, I also made sure to include foods that I already know my family enjoys. Now, to keep these food items as protected as I can, I'm going to be adding each person's food supply to a Ziploc bag. Not only will this Ziploc bag keep everything together, but in an emergency situation, a Ziploc bag might be a really nice item to have because you'll be able to reuse it for a lot of different purposes. And you guys, I'm putting the same foods in everybody's bags, except for a few differences you'll see in the adult bags. So first, I'm starting off by adding a bag of lentils. Now, these are a great option if you have any vegetarian family members. These are fully cooked and ready to eat. This bag actually has 2 servings in it, so it can last for 2 dinners. And I would actually pair half of the lentils with half of a package of ready rice. Now, there are lots of different flavors of ready rice, but I opted for the garden vegetable one because it has the peas and the carrots and the corn in here as well. And then I'm also adding in a can of Chef Boyardee, but this one is actually the rice with chicken and vegetables. And of course, this is fully cooked. It has a nice easy pop lid, so I don't have to worry about bringing a can opener opener. Now, as far as lunches go, I'm also going to be packing my kids these lunch on the run chicken salad kits. In here, there is a container of chicken salad, some crackers, and then this also has a little fruit cup and a cookie. So it's really all you need in one. For another lunch, I'm also going to throw in this little chicken salad pack. And because this package isn't very large, I'm also going to throw in a little can of Vienna sausages. Now, I know not everybody likes these, but my kids are okay with them, and they are really portable, shelf-stable, and convenient. And then for that third lunch, I'm throwing in another Chef Boyardee can, but this one is actually spaghetti and meatballs. And now, as far as breakfast go, I wanted to make sure to pack items that didn't require any extra water because I want to save all of our water for drinking and not cooking. So that means these breakfasts are going to be pretty simple. Not necessarily what we would eat at home, but definitely good in an emergency situation. All three breakfasts are going to start with a granola bar. I like these because they don't have any chocolate, so I don't have to worry about them getting all melted and sticky. These ones have almond butter, nuts, and seeds, and it just seems like something that's going to keep them fuller for longer. Also, for each breakfast, I'm including a little fruit pouch, but instead of being straight up applesauce, I thought it might be a good idea to throw in the apple and vegetable sauce. That way the kids are getting both. And then to bulk up breakfast even further, I'm also going to be including a packet of these Jif to go cups. Now, I found these at the Dollar Tree, so they were a really good deal. And you guys, each of these little cups has 250 calories, so definitely get a lot of bang for your buck with these. And now finally, I am also including a couple of snacks per day. First, I'm including several of these packs of nuts. And I like these ones because it's not actually trail mix. There's no M&Ms in here or dried fruit. It's just nuts. And to go along with these, I'm also including several boxes of raisins. And then for a sweet treat, I'm also going to include several fruit leather bars. Again, these stay good for a very long time. And fruit snacks tend to have a lot of vitamin C in them, so they're a good item to include in your emergency kit. So now I'm just going to add all of these items into the Ziploc bags. And I am using a 2-gallon size bag because I think it fits everything a lot better. And I definitely don't want to forget some utensils. I'm actually going to put in these little spoon and fork combos, so we're getting the best of both worlds, and these are definitely reusable. Now, as far as the adult bags go, I'm adding pretty much the same stuff, but one thing I am going to change is the Chef Boyardee. I decided to add cans of chili mac. And that's not because I'm a huge fan of chili mac or anything. I just think it's a good option because it's ready to eat right out of the can. It does have that easy open lid. And out of all of the different kinds of ready-to-go soup, the chili mac has the highest amount of protein. Now that brings me to water. Water is very important in an emergency situation, but unfortunately water is also very heavy. So for our go bags, I'm going to start by adding 3 bottles of water to each backpack. But to go along with these bottles of water, I'm also going to include 3 packets of this hydration multiplier. When you add it to water, it actually helps you get 3 times the hydration. So if you can't carry a bunch of water, this is the next best thing. I'm also going to be including another way that my family can get water, and I'll show that to you a little bit later. In the adult bags, I'm also going to be adding in 3 of these energy multipliers, which are very similar but include some caffeine. Okay guys, next up is the clothing category. And of course, this might be a little bit different depending on where you live. It doesn't get super cold where we are in Florida, so I'm just adding for each kid a pair of comfy pants, a long sleeve shirt, 1 change of underwear, and 1 change of socks. I'm just going to fold those all together, roll them up as tightly as I can, wrap a rubber band around them, and then to make sure these clothes stay nice and dry, I'm going to store those in a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. Not only will the bag keep the things dry, but the bag can also be reused later. Now moving on to the hygiene products. For each member of the family, I went ahead and picked up a travel toothbrush and toothpaste. I also picked up 1 stick of chapstick for each person. I'm also adding in a little travel soap. And you guys, for the kids, I got a 3-in-1. So this includes body wash, shampoo, and conditioner. I also have a package of tissues for each person. I have 1 pack of baby wipes. This is multi-purpose for sure. Each person will get their own hand sanitizer. And then I'm also including a little travel hairbrush. I only have 1 of these, so we're gonna have to share. I'm also including some little washcloths. Now, I picked these up at the Dollar Tree, and they come nice and small like this. And of course, when you get them wet, they will expand. Now, for the adult hygiene items, I'm adding pretty much the exact same stuff, except with a few extras that adults might need. Next up is the comfort category. And of course, this is where you're going to want to include anything that comforts you in an emergency. For my kids, I'm just going to be including some activities, and basically everything I'm adding came from either the Target Dollar Spot or the Dollar Tree. So I have little coloring kits, puzzles. I also have a little thing of Play-Doh for each kid. I have bubbles for my younger kids. I have a couple of books for my older kids. And then for all of my kids, I picked up these little dollar store writing boards. What type of comfort items would you include in your emergency bag? And now, besides food and water, the emergency category is probably the most important. First up, I'm going to be including a life straw for each person in my family. Now, you guys, these are not cheap, but I think they're totally worth it. A life straw is a personal water filter. This doesn't require any electricity or batteries. Thankfully, we've never had to use these before, but they do say that they can filter up to 1,000 gallons each. So definitely a good item to have in your emergency supplies. Also in the emergency category, you're going to want to have some kind of first aid kit. Now this is really going to vary person to person depending on what your needs are. I just have a very basic kit, and then I've added a couple of things that I think are important to my kit. I'm also adding 1 little tube of sunscreen per person. Now of course these things are only meant to last for 72 hours, so I think this will just be enough. I'm also adding some emergency ponchos. These aren't nothing fancy, they were only $1, but they can definitely help keep you dry. And then I also have some emergency blankets. Now I know these don't look like blankets, it's basically just a sheet of Mylar. And speaking of keeping you warm, I'm also adding in some hand warmers. And then definitely in the adult bags, I'm adding in some lighters and some matches. And I did go ahead and get these storm-proof matches. So these come in a little waterproof container, and these seem really heavy duty as well. Next, I'm including some plastic bags. Now I already told you about the Ziploc bags, but I'm also including some of these big black outdoor trash bags, because in an emergency situation, sanitation might be really challenging. So these black trash bags can really come in handy for that, but they really can be used for lots of different emergency situations as well. And then this next part might be a little bit of overkill, but I'm also including 3 different kinds of flashlights. The first ones I picked up at Costco, and these are actually reusable glow sticks plus a flashlight, and there's actually a built-in whistle in here as well. Also from Costco, I picked up this triple pack of headlamps. These definitely come in handy when you need to have your hands free. And then in each of the adult backpacks, I'm adding in some lanterns. Another thing I wanted to make sure to put in our emergency bag is a hand crank radio, so you don't need to have batteries for this. Next, I'm including a solar-powered charger, so this can definitely charge things like my phone and other small devices. I'm also adding in a waterproof document holder. This is great for things like birth certificates, insurance papers, or even maps. In my husband's bag, I'm adding in an emergency knife, and then in my bag, I'm including a tarp, and we can use this to make a makeshift tent if we need to. Now, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button if you're new. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.